We back with another one, man. They say Ja Rule done sent the crazy video, you know what I'm saying, the G Unit. After they got into it on that plane, you know, Uncle Murder and Tony Yayo, they jammed him up a little bit, called him a sucker. Ja Rule threw a pillow. You know what I'm saying? We finna see what's going on, man.
People gotta understand, beef never dies, it just gets old. That's it.
So G-Unit and Ja Rule are at it again. Their latest clash happened while they both boarded a Delta plane. Now, although 50 wasn't there, Yayo had this to say.
If it wasn't that
Yayo. From now on, we calling Tony Yayo Yayo. His new name is Yayo. For the rest of the video, I'm gonna refer to him as Yayo.
room, there would be no Ja Rule. There would be no 50. I put that on my father.
But regardless of what could have been, Ja Rule was humiliated, and now he's back with a response. Here's what we know. The plane. So it's February 8th, 2026. Super Bowl 60 weekend just wrapped up in San Francisco. Everybody who's anybody in the industry was out there.
Yeah, it was a Super Bowl weekend. I seen y'all out there getting beat up over them shoes, too. Y'all know y'all ain't had no business out there getting beat up over shoes. More power to y'all, though. I could tell a lot of y'all ain't never heard of online in these shows because y'all was out there getting beat up over them shoes. But back to the video.
Parties, events, brand activations, the whole nine. Tony Yayo, Uncle Murda, and their people had been out there with 50 Cent the entire weekend, doing events with draft picks and TikTok, hitting exclusive parties backstage, taking pictures with legends, living the whole G-Unit lifestyle that comes with being plugged into 50's world. Yayo talked about it on Vlad TV. They were mobbing heavy all weekend. It was a victory lap, and by Sunday morning, the weekend was done, and they were ready to get back to New York. They booked a Delta flight from SFO to JFK. Yayo, Murda, and the crew all had first-class tickets. They boarded early, threw their bags in the overhead, sat down in seats 4C and 4D, and started getting settled in for a 5-hour flight home. Standard procedure, nothing out of the ordinary. But before they even finished getting comfortable, somebody at the airport pulled them aside and dropped some intel. J. Rule was going to be on the same flight. And just like that, the vibe
Not J. Rule, man. So J. Rule was on the flight for Uncle Murda and Tony Yayo. You know what I'm saying? Them the new names. Y'all ain't ready for that.
shifted.
You know, I don't want to say who told us, but somebody was like, Ja Rule's gonna be on our flight.
So Yayo told Murda, told the rest.
Now, I seen that. And when I heard Tony Yayo say that, I felt like, who told them that Ja was gonna be on that flight? That means Ja got a snake around him or something. Cause how somebody just hit you ever like Yayo, like he said, I ain't gonna say who, but somebody told us that Ja Rule was gonna be on the flight. So you already knew that nigga was gonna be on the flight. You see what I'm saying? Crazy, bro. So this was playing the stage. Then Yayo and Uncle Murda do what they do and then drop a podcast. Man, it's crazy out here.
Rest of the crew, but nobody was about to switch flights or duck anybody. That's not how they move.
We not ducking no smoke. I'm not missing a flight home for anybody.
So now you've got the G-Unit side sitting in first class, fully aware of who's about to walk through that cabin door. The element of surprise belonged entirely to them. Ja had no clue what he was walking into. As the plane filled up, Yayo started counting empty seats. 2 were left, one up front and one directly in front of where he and Murda were sitting. He leaned over and tapped Murda on the arm.
It'd be crazy if he sit right here in front of us. Lo and behold, give it like 2 minutes. Boom, I see Ja.
And there he was, Ja Rule, walking down the aisle of first class by himself with no crew.
But you just said you knew he was gonna be there. You already knew. So now I'm starting to think to myself, was what Tony Yayo and Uncle Murda was sitting there, was them even their seats? Because Ja went to his right seat, but y'all knew he was gonna be on the plane. Oh, man, if they had the seat too, man, if I'm Ja Rule, I'm watching my back. That's too close to comfort for me. Like somebody told y'all I was going to be on the plane? What?
No security, no entourage, just 2 bags and a boarding pass. The second he locked eyes with Yayo, his whole demeanor changed.
He see me. He spooked. He could tell TMZ, he could tell you, he could tell everybody he was spooked. because he only seen me.
And Yayo made a point about what seeing him means in this context, because in the world they come from, when you see one G-Unit member, you're calculating who else might be close by.
When you see me, who do you see? You see 50 Cent, you see Uncle Murder, you see some gangster around all the time.
So Ja sat down in seat 3, directly in front of them. And right away, before the plane even started taxiing, Ja started turning around, asking if they were good. We good? We good? Yayo says. The tone wasn't tough. It was the voice of a man trying to figure out if he was safe on this flight.
He wasn't even saying it in an aggressive way. He was like, yo, we good, we good, we good.
Uncle Murda wasn't having it. He snapped back and told Ja not to talk to them at all. Murda's a Brooklyn dude through and through, and when his voice gets going in a confined space like a first-class cabin, everybody hears it. The energy in that section of the plane went from 0 to 100 in seconds. Words were flying. Ja was getting louder. Murda was getting louder. Passengers started looking up from their phones. Flight attendants started walking over. Then Yayo dropped the line that turned the whole thing up another notch. He told Ja to suck his dick. Loud, clear. The entire first class and business section heard every word.
All aggressive shit he talking about, I told that man, suck my.
And that's when Ja reached for the only weapon available.
Now, I ain't gonna lie, Yayo, you did do that. And then Ja Rule slapped you with a pillow. Don't leave that part out when you say, I told that man. Yeah, you told that man smacked you with a pillow. Smacked with a pillow. You see what I'm saying?
Available to him on a commercial aircraft, a Delta Airlines complimentary pillow. He grabbed it and threw it directly at Yayo's head, knocking his hat clean off.
This nigga throws a pillow. Come on, Ja, you gotta do better.
Yayo tried to jump up and rush him, but the seatbelt caught him mid-rise and pulled him right back down into his seat. Murda was already out of his seat on the other side of the aisle, closing in. For a split second, it looked like it was about to be a real situation.
I played myself. You know, them seatbelts are sturdy. I tried to get up, and I fell back there.
But the flight attendant killed it right there. Yayo described him as a gay steward who stepped in with serious authority and shut the entire confrontation down, hit the emergency call button, told everyone to be quiet, and just like that, the screaming stopped.
Shout out to the stewardess there. He was a gay guy, you know. Nothing against gay people, but the way he shut it down was just, he was like, stop!
The crew brought everybody to the front of the plane, asked them individually if they could fly without further incident. Yayo said he was good, walked back to his seat, and kept it cool. Ja was on a different page. According to Yayo, Ja had been texting people the whole time, possibly trying to get people to meet them when the plane landed at JFK. Whether that's true or not, the end result was the same. Ja removed himself from the flight.
That knew that. He took himself off the plane. You know what I'm saying?
Delta confirmed that 2 customers.
So basically, if the plane would have landed, wherever the plane landed at, they was gonna stump Ja Rule. Crazy.
Were spoken to by the cabin crew following a disagreement, and that one was rebooked on a later flight. That passenger was Ja Rule. And before everything settled back down to normal, Yayo made sure to get the last word in. The pillow Ja threw at him, he threw it right back.
I say, here you go anyway, bitch ass. Threw his pillow right back to him. The same pillow he threw in my threw it right back to him. Boom, he's sitting there.
But the plane was just the opening act, because once the footage hit the internet, the whole thing graduated from an in-flight altercation to a full-blown cultural event. And the loudest voice in the room wasn't even on that aircraft. The fallout, 50s trolling, the AI video, and Jay's defiance. Within hours of the plane landing, Uncle Murda had the footage up on his Instagram for the whole world to see. The first clip showed Ja Rule walking down the aisle toward his seat, with Murda narrating over it in real time, calling him a sucker, straight to his face while the camera rolled. The raw, unfiltered energy of that video, the cramped cabin, the overhead bins, Ja's face caught mid-realization, hit different from a typical rap beef moment. This wasn't staged. This wasn't a music video. This was a candid encounter captured on an iPhone in first class, and it spread accordingly. The second clip was even more telling. It showed Ja's empty seat after he'd been removed from the flight, with Murda grinning and captioning it, "Ja got off the plane, lol, I took his seat." That clip framed the entire narrative from the G-Unit perspective. We stayed, he left, and we're laughing about it. By Sunday evening, every major hip-hop blog and entertainment outlet had picked it up. The clips were embedded in articles across Billboard, People, the LA Times, Complex, and Hip Hop DX. Millions of views accumulated in under 24 hours. That's when the boss entered the chat. 50 Cent reposted Uncle Murda's footage to his own Instagram on February 9th, one day after the flight. His caption was textbook 50. He wrote that Ja was by himself, so he had to make a scene so they could remove.
And you know what was crazy? when 50 first put the video up, we looking at it like, okay, they got Ja on the plane, you know, they going at it, they arguing back and forth or whatever. But then I started noticing in the comments, I don't know if it was the people that was on the plane, but in the comments, I kept reading and people was like, no, show the whole footage, show the whole footage. And I'm like, wait a minute. So that's why I didn't want to rush to do the video, because I'm looking in the 50 comments and the people in the comments is saying, show the whole footage. So I'm like, it got to be more footage. That means y'all was on the plane. Yeah, shout out to them people on the plane. But for everybody else, don't never do this on the plane, because you could end up getting on a no-fly list. FBI, open up! Then you can't fly nowhere.
Remove his scary ass, then tagged his cognac brand at the end, because even when he's demolishing a rival's reputation, the man is still pushing product. That post landed on feeds of his 30+ million followers instantly. Yayo and Murda dropped laughing emojis in the comments. The whole G-Unit ecosystem was activated and amplifying the humiliation in unison. The comment section became a battlefield, one faction roasting Ja for the pillow throw, the other telling these grown men to act their age. But 50 wasn't done. The pettiness had levels to it. He escalated the trolling by posting an AI-generated video mocking Ja Rule, a fully animated, exaggerated depiction of the plane scenario that made Ja look as cowardly and ridiculous as possible. This is the disturbing video at the center of this whole saga. It wasn't something Ja sent to G-Unit. It was something 50 manufactured and sent to the entire internet about Ja. The video was designed to maximize embarrassment and virality, and it worked. Millions of views, reposts on every platform. The skulls and crying laughing emojis flooded the comment sections like a digital funeral for Ja Rule's dignity. Some people thought it was hilarious and creative trolling at its finest. Others called it corny, played out, and beneath a man of 50's stature and business accomplishments. Either way, it dominated the hip-hop news cycle for another full rotation. Now, through all of this, the footage, the reposts, the AI video, the memes, the headlines, Ja Rule was not sitting silent. On February 10th, he took to X and started telling his version of events. And his energy was the polar opposite of a man who'd been embarrassed. His post read, "I popped on these punks by myself on a plane. LMAO pussy ass. I threw the pillow at Yayo head cause you soft, knocked your hat all off.
I threw the pillow at Yayo head."
He called the entire G-Unit team pussy and made it unmistakably clear that he had zero regrets about any of it. In another post, he shared a screenshot of.
But I give it to Ja though, you know, two G-Unit members, one of you, and you still end up smacking somebody with a pillow. So no matter how y'all look at it, he still threw the first. Ja was still on go. He had the only leg. He hit him with a pillow.
Of a TMZ message asking for his official comment on the incident. The message laid out exactly what witnesses had told TMZ, that Ja was identified as the aggressor, that he yelled profanities, that he expressed a desire to fight, and that he threw the pillow. The crew intervened and removed both parties from the plane briefly. Yayo had yelled back that planes are federal territory and that he hadn't done anything wrong. Ja posted that TMZ message like a trophy. His attitude was basically, yeah, I did all that, and what?
He even joked about TMZ hitting him up saying witnesses claim he was loud and aggressive. Ja's response energy was basically, yep, and I do it again. No PR statement, no damage control, just straight petty nostalgia.
And that contradiction is what makes this whole situation so fascinating to watch from the outside. You've got two completely irreconcilable versions of reality coming from the same incident. Tony Yayo and Uncle Murda treated the encounter like content gold. They filmed it, posted it, monetized it, and then sat down for a full Vlad TV interview to break down every detail from the moment they got to the airport until the moment Ja's seat sat empty. For them, this was a W. This was proof that G-Unit still runs things, even in the sky. Ja saw it the exact opposite way. He walked into enemy territory alone, 2-on-1, no crew, no backup, and he still got loud, still threw the pillow, still told them what was on his mind. In his reality,
yeah, I ain't gonna lie, Ja Rule do get some points for that though, man. It's like he drew blood, man. He threw that pillow. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. I don't see the footage of Tony Yayo throwing the pillow back. So I don't know if he threw the pillow back or not. You know what I'm saying? He say he did. Where the footage? The people in 50 comments said, post all the footage. I seen the rest of the footage. But I ain't see the footage of Yayo throwing the pillow back like he said he threw the pillow back.
reality, being the one removed from the plane doesn't mean he lost.
I don't know,
it
man.
means he was the one applying pressure. The other two were sitting there with cameras out.
Not the club, not the studio, not an award show, a plane, which just proves some rap beefs never expire. They don't age, they just go quiet until seat 23 beats.
Two entirely different
Hell, it's
mindsets.
23
One side
CB.
treating it as entertainment, the other side treating it as a stand, and both claiming total victory. That's what a 27-year beef looks like when it pops off in the most random setting imaginable. Nobody agrees on what happened, and everybody thinks they won. But underneath all the comedy and the posting and the AI videos, Yayo dropped something on Vlad TV that reminded everybody this thing has a darker foundation than memes can capture.
He lucky Fifth wasn't on the plane, because niggas would have been amped up because he there.
And that line wasn't a joke, because when you go back and listen to what Yayo said on Club Shay Shay
Not really, because when 50 and Ja Rule was on the plane, 50 ain't do nothing.
about the old confrontations, the studio fights, the weapons, the things that almost went down in closed rooms with no cameras and no flight attendants, you understand that the only reason this stayed as a pillow incident is because of where it happened.
If it was in that room, there would be no Ja Rule. There would be no 50. I put that on my father. There would be no Ja Rule. There would be no 50.
That's not internet talk. That's a man
That's
recounting
cap.
what he believes would have happened if the circumstances were different.
They came with crutches and butcher knives and fruit shit. Like, come on, like they ain't come with no artillery. We had artillery.
The implication is straightforward. G-Unit had access to things the other side didn't bring. And the only thing that prevented a worst-case scenario in those early days was luck and logistics. In 2026, on a commercial aircraft with federal jurisdiction, seatbelt signs, and a flight attendant who wasn't playing, the most dangerous weapon available was a complimentary pillow. The setting contained what the people involved might not have contained themselves. The roots. Why 27 years couldn't kill this beef. To understand why Ja Rule cannot occupy the same first-class cabin as a G-Unit affiliate without it turning into a scene, you have to trace this thing all the way back to the streets of Southeast Queens in the late 19th.
Well, that's because they tried to kill 50 and shot him 9 times, and, 50 feel like Ja and them had something to do with it.
90s. That's where this fire was lit, and nothing, not prison time, not career changes, not age, not distance, has been able to put it out. Both Ja Rule and 50 Cent grew up in the same corridors of New York, South Jamaica, Hollis, the blocks between Merrick Boulevard and Guy Brewer Boulevard, where the streets didn't care about your rap dreams. They came up in the shadow of the same drug lords who ran those neighborhoods in the 1980s, Supreme McGriff, Fat Cat Nichols, Pappy Mason, men whose legacies were woven into the fabric of Queen Street culture and whose influence reached directly into the music industry. Both Ja and 50 rapped about that world because they lived in it, and for a window of time in the late 90s, their paths overlapped without incident. The commonly cited flashpoint goes back to 1999. An associate of 50 Cent's robbed J. Rule for his chain at gunpoint during a period when both were building their names in the local scene. Ja later spotted 50 in proximity to the person who robbed him, and that planted the seed of suspicion that 50 had something to do with it. 50 has maintained it wasn't him, but the damage was done. Ja went to his
I ain't gonna lie though, every time 50 Cent tell a story, he act like Ja Rule was supposed to be cool that you done showed up with the dude that robbed me. It don't work like that, 50. What? 50 funny. Yeah, man, I was with a kid, man. Kid robbed him, man. He robbed him, man. It wasn't me, man. It was him, man. Like, hey, he get mad at me.
murder
Funny
Inc.'s
as
camp
hell.
with the grievance. 50 felt the cold shoulder from the crew he thought he was cool with. And from that point forward, the trajectory of both men's careers became permanently entangled in opposition. Ja Rule tells a different version, that it started over a snub during the Murder for Life video shoot on Jamaica Avenue, where 50 felt disrespected by the director and resented the love Ja was getting from the neighborhood. Irv Gotti had also rejected 50's demo tape earlier, which added another layer of resentment. Whatever the exact trigger was, the result is undeniable. By the end of 1999, 50 Cent and J. Rule were enemies, and that enmity quickly turned physical. There was a brawl at a nightclub in Atlanta where
50 Cent and J. Rule going at it.
both were booked to perform. Chains got snatched, punches got thrown, and then, on March 24, 2000, the situation went to a completely different level. 50 Cent was at the Hit Factory recording studio in Midtown Manhattan, working on tracks for his album Power of the Dollar. Murder Inc. members, including Black Child, Irv Gotti, and Chris Gotti, rolled up to the studio and a brawl erupted. Black Child stabbed 50 in the chest and hands during the chaos. 50 fled the building bleeding, stumbled into a neighboring studio, and was rushed to the hospital. He needed stitches, but the injuries were not life-threatening. He downplayed the whole thing afterward, calling the wounds scratches. Tony Yayo was around for that era. He spoke about it on Club Shay Shay, and what he described was a situation that could have been catastrophic if different elements had been present. That distinction mattered then, and it matters now. The G-Unit side has consistently implied that they were equipped for something far more serious than a studio brawl, and that restraint, or circumstance, is the reason things didn't escalate beyond stab wounds. 2 months after the Hit Factory incident in May of 2000, 50 Cent was shot 9 times in front of his grandmother's house in Queens. He was hit in his hand, arm, hip, both, legs, chest, and face. He survived, spent months recovering, and came back with a mythology around him that no marketing campaign could have manufactured. The shooting was linked by federal investigators to Kenneth.
I'd have been mad too, though. Y'all done shot me 9 times, all in front of my grandma's house. I gotta come back and do so. I felt fear. I could have been dead. I could have been gone. I could have not been here. So I don't blame 50 for how he came back, man. He had to do what he had to do.
Supreme McGriff and the orbit around Murder Inc., though no convictions were ever secured for it. That event didn't just change 50's career. It redefined what a rapper's origin story could look like, and it cemented the beef with Ja Rule and Murder Inc. as something that went far beyond rap music. When 50 signed with Eminem and Dr. Dre and dropped Get Rich or Die Tryin' in February 2003, the war went mainstream. Tracks like Back Down and Wanksta weren't just disses. They were surgical dismantlings of Ja Rule's credibility as a street artist. 50 questioned everything: Ja's toughness, his authenticity, his associations, his singing. Ja responded with Loose Change, a track that targeted 50, Eminem, and even Eminem's daughter Haley, a decision that brought Slim Shady into the conflict fully loaded. The response track, Hail Mary, featuring 50, Eminem, and Busta Rhymes over a repurposed Tupac beat, remains one of the most merciless diss records in hip-hop history. Ja dropped Blood in My Eye later that same year, an entire album built as a weapon aimed directly at G-Unit. It underperformed badly. The commercial momentum that had carried him through platinum.
Hey, how you introduce the man album like that and say, hey, it did badly? Drop a Buddha bomb, man. I ain't gonna lie. Ja Rule couldn't clap back. But I ain't gonna lie. I'm gonna tell y'all what Ja messed up at. I'm gonna tell y'all what he messed up at. One, when he had the power to destroy 50 and stop him from getting on, they didn't do enough because they thought he wasn't gonna never get on. That was one of the mistakes he made. The other mistake he made was that when he came back with I'm from New York, it wasn't no other records that sounded like I'm from New York. Whoever produced that New York beat should have did that whole Ja Rule album. He going to I'm from New York, and ain't no other song on that album sound like that. Straight dumpster juice, everything else. And that's what he messed up at. And that's why he could never get back on top. New York, all that. That's why he couldn't clap back. We go, let they go to what? Clapback was too happy-go-lucky, man. This man done had people all on this album calling you, one of them, the alphabet people and all that, man. Like, he ain't doing enough, man. He ain't be like, man, the feds was on. I'm not trying to hear that. Me and 50 would have been going to war for real, for real.
Hits like Always on Time, Mesmerize, and Put It On Me was drying up fast, and the timing couldn't have been worse, because right as the musical war was peaking, the feds raided Murder Inc.'s offices in 2003 as part of a money laundering investigation linked to Supreme McGriff. Irv and Chris Gotti were indicted. They beat the charges in 2000.
And shout out to Supreme for calling in for jail and telling his son to shut up, because I wanted him to shut up too. Yeah, mini Supreme, little bitty Supreme Jr. Supreme piece of Junior. I'm tired of him too. So I'm glad his daddy called home and told him to keep his mouth shut.
2005, but the label's credibility and infrastructure were destroyed in the process. J. Rule's career stalled, his album stopped moving, and by 2011 he was in prison, serving concurrent sentences for weapons possession and tax evasion on over $3 million in unreported earnings. By the time he came home in 2013,
Pay your taxes,
the
Ja.
game had moved on without him. 50 Cent went the other direction entirely. He built an empire that stretches far beyond anything a rapper from Queens was supposed to build. G-Unit Records, the vitamin water deal that netted him hundreds of millions, the Power television franchise that became one of the biggest shows on cable, publishing deals, film production, liquor brands, headphone companies. He became one of the wealthiest and most diversified businessmen in entertainment history, a mogul in every sense of the word. But no matter how high his net worth climbed, he never stopped looking back at Ja Rule. In 2018, 50 bought 200 front row tickets to a Ja Rule concert just to leave the seats empty, a prank that went viral and became shorthand for the level of pettiness involved in this rivalry. He's mocked Ja's involvement in the Fyre Festival disaster repeatedly. He's posted about Ja's ticket sales, his legal issues, his relevance, his age. Every few months, without fail, 50 finds a new angle to remind the internet that,
Man, you beef with 50, man. You gonna be beefing with him. Well, I ain't gonna say you gonna be beefing with him forever. It all depends, but the way him and Ja Rule is, yeah, it ain't gonna never end.
Ja Rule lost the war, and Ja keeps responding every single time. That's the context for what happened on that Delta flight. When Ja Rule saw Tony Yayo sitting in seat 4D, he wasn't seeing a random guy from the 2000s. He was seeing the soldier of the man who dismantled his career, mocked his failures for 2 decades straight, bought out his concert tickets as a joke, and turned his name into a punchline for 30+ million Instagram followers. And when Yayo saw Ja, he wasn't seeing a former chart-topping artist having a bad travel day.
Yayo, man. Yayo. Yayo. He ain't finna be calling this man Yayo through the whole video, bro. We ain't doing that.
Camp that came to the hit factory with butcher knives. The camp that was connected to the man who allegedly sent shooters to 50's grandmother's house. The camp that tried to block every blessing G-Unit ever received. That's why a pillow on a plane in 2026 still carries the weight of everything that happened in 1999, 2000, 2003, and every year since. The setting changes, the intensity drops, the weapons downgrade from knives to pillows, and from diss tracks to AI-generated videos. But the feeling doesn't change, the resentment doesn't soften, the history doesn't get rewritten just because everybody's older now. And Yayo knew that. He summed up the whole thing on Vlad TV with one line that captures 27 years of bad blood in a single sentence.
You people gotta understand, beef never dies, it just gets old. That's it.
And on Club Shay Shay, when Shannon Sharp pressed him about why he still takes shots at Ja after all these years, Yayo didn't overthink it. He didn't wrap it in philosophy or try to intellectualize the animosity. He just said what it is. There's no reconciliation hiding in that sentence. There's no olive branch tucked between those words.
Oh, it ain't.
That's a man telling you, plainly, directly, and without any pretense, that the animosity doesn't have an expiration date. It doesn't matter how old they get. It doesn't matter how many years pass. It doesn't matter if they're in a studio or on a stage or in first class on a Delta flight surrounded by strangers and flight attendants and federal aviation laws. The moment they occupy the same space, it's a problem. And it always will be. 50 Cent himself said years ago that it ain't over till one of us gone. And based on everything, the plane, the pillow, the footage, the AI video, the X posts, the Vlad TV interview, the 27 unbroken years of accumulated hostility, he was right. These are men in their late 40s and early 50s. They've got kids, businesses, legacies that extend well beyond the music that made them famous. But the moment they're breathing the same recycled air in a first-class cabin, it's 2003 all over again. The context is different. Studios become airplanes, fists become pillows, diss tracks become Instagram reels, street confrontations become AI-generated comedy sketches, but the energy underneath is identical. It doesn't evolve, it doesn't mature, it doesn't cool down with time, it just keeps going, forever. Like a loop that nobody knows how to break, and honestly, nobody actually wants to. And that right there, that permanent, unresolvable, completely irrational commitment to a grudge that started in the housing projects and barbershops and street corners of Queens before some of their fans were even born, is exactly why people can't stop watching. It's not about the music anymore. It's not about record sales or chart positions or who had the better verse. It's about pride. It's about history. It's about two sides of...
Right. At the end of the day, man, like I said, Ja Rule through the pillow, so I got to get a W to him on that one. But y'all get in the comment section and let me know what y'all think about all this, man. It's your boy Buddha. I'm out.